taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Hello, and welcome to the Maxine Phillips Life Strategy Show. Yes, I am your show host, Maxine Phillips. It's so great to be here tonight to talk to you about performance, to talk to you about talent management, to talk to you about what are you doing to prepare yourself with all of the layoffs that we hear that's going on. So we have to, not get ready, but we must stay ready. So as we talk this evening about these information that I just shared with you, let's talk a minute about Level Less. And so I am the CEO and founder of Level Less. And Level Less is about success without levels. So we have a movement that's happening right now. And that movement is all about adopting the level less mindset. That way, when you adopt that a level less mindset, that you are able to discover who you are. What are those God-given abilities that you were born with that no one had to teach them to you? And then to define what success looks like for you. And after you have defined it, then you need to design a strategy so it can help you to move forward so that you're always successful. You always know the exact path that you are taking. And then develop yourself along the way. Always be a lifelong learner. Don't ever stop learning and developing yourself. And after that, you want to deliver. That means deliver and execute with excellence, putting in that customer service, using quality, that standard of excellence that you have put in place for yourself. So when we talk about levelless, we always talk about success without levels because we want you to understand that you can be successful. And is it about climbing a level or climbing the corporate ladder or elevating yourself? Many times we can be successful even if we're lateral, but it's all in the mindset in which you adopt. So this evening, as I talk about levelers, we work and we service with young adults. I'm talking about students who are in high school, those who are in early college, and then we look at adults who are in transition. If you're in transition, you could be unemployed. There's a lot of layoffs that's going on right now. You can be underemployed, which means that you might not be satisfied in the job in which you're doing. And we're going to talk about job versus as an assignment. And you could be in a position whereas you're ready to make a move, but you're unsure how to make that move. And are you being promoted? Are you being overlooked? Are you being not considered for assignments or projects or maybe represent the company in a certain way? And then, we have that thing that's called succession planning. Are you a part of that succession plan? Are you being deemed as a top talent employee? So we're going to be addressing a little bit of all that, but not a whole lot because we do have an offer to make to you. But as I start talking about level less, I never will forget when I was a manager over a marketing administrative team. And here we are helping an organization bring in over $12 million in their annual revenue to meet that goal. But yet, when I receive my performance review, and I'm sure some of you have already received your performance review because here we are in February, and many times you talk to maybe the January and then going into February. And if you have not, make sure you do have your performance discussion with your manager. But getting back to the story, that here I am rated outstanding on my performance review. Outstanding. Hear me, outstanding. But the next statement out of the managers informed me was that you would not be promoted without a degree. Now, at that time, I did not have a degree. I had my high school diploma. But what I had that equipped me to do the work that I was doing, it was my God given abilities that I was born with, and no one had to teach it to me. And I was doing an outstanding job in managing this administrative team of 4 clerks to help them make that $12 million annual revenue. Was I devastated? You bet I was. Who wouldn't be? You're working your butt off, as we say, but yet you're told you're doing an outstanding job, but you will not be promoted without a degree. So I went back to my desk, and of course, I felt like I probably pouted a little. That's natural. But then I had to start thinking about it. And this is what I want you to think about. Who are you? What are your God given abilities? What are you naturally gifted at doing? What are your strengths? Are you familiar with them? Do you know them? Can you just quote them and share that with someone if they were to walk up to you and ask you that question? I had to take an inventory of who I am. And I want you to do the same. I want you to examine who you are from your core. I want to ensure that you understand what makes you you and what makes you unique. I want you to understand what are your strengths and what values are you bringing to an organization or to a project or to whatever assignment that you have been given. You need to understand that for yourself. And when you understand that, that's where your confidence level increase. Not to the point where your ego, your head is so big it's hard for you to walk around with it. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I am talking about is that self-confidence that when you walk into a room, it's obvious. When you're working on a project, you bring it forth. And when you meet individuals, you don't mind sharing your knowledge and helping the next person. So after I took that inventory of who I am and what I offered and the value that I brought, I was no longer down on me. I had to take a look and say, okay, Maxine, what are you going to do about this? And that's the question I ask you tonight. If you have found yourself in any of the situations that I just spoke about, overlooked, underpaid, not given an opportunity to use the skills that you brought with you to an organization, then you need to do an inventory of yourself so that you can understand, is there an actual gap? Or are you even in the correct organization? See, one of the things that we don't take into consideration when we are looking for, majority of the time people call it a job, but I like to call it an assignment, because we'll look for the job, but what we really should be looking for is our assignment. And see, when you find that assignment, it matches you. It matches your abilities. It matches your strengths. It matches your purpose. It matches your passion. It matches all of those things. And you feel fulfilled. You feel that sense of joy. And you don't mind getting up and doing that role and those responsibilities every single day. It's almost like you have a love for what it is that you're doing. You just happen to be getting paid for it. So when we start talking about performance improvement or talent management or management development or leadership, all of that just brings to me in mind is that you must first understand who you are from your core and what is it that make you unique. With all of the job closings, announcements of layoffs, you are competing and you will be competing against thousands of individuals. I just read the other day with the United States government, and one of the individuals told me that when they applied for a job, that there were 5,000 applicants that applied for that one job. That one job opening. So there's going to be competition out here. But what you must understand is what's going to set you apart from the next person that's putting in for that job opening. So as I started thinking about tonight and what I was going to share, it came to mind about the job search assignment. That's how we need to call it, a job search assignment. Yes, you have to look for the job, but you also need to be looking, does it match the assignment for you? So that you're doing what you're called to do and you have a love for it. Now, we already know that many times there are individuals out here working in roles and responsibilities that does not even match what they've gone to school for. It does not even closely resemble the degree in which they have acquired. Or maybe even now, when it comes to the certifications, usually the certifications are spot on because that means you've been intentional about what certifications you are going to acquire. And majority of the time, it will match the role and responsibilities that you are going towards in order to be doing. But when I started thinking about talent management, it came to mind is that who's deciding, who's making the decision if you are going to be a part of that succession plan? Who's making the decision? Of course, the executives or HR. But what I want you to do is start thinking differently. I want you to have a levelless mindset. That's right, a levelless mindset. Because, see, a levelless mindset, you know the values that you're adding to that organization. You are going to know your worth, and you are going to understand how to advocate for yourself. So when you have that levelless mindset, yes, the executives and management has the final decision who are they going to choose when it comes to succession planning. But I want you to start thinking differently, and I want you to start asking yourself, do I want to be a part of that succession plan in my organization, in my department? Because if you do, now is the time for you to start preparing for it. It is so essential that you understand the values, the abilities, the talents that you're bringing to the organization. Now, just mellow in that for a moment. Had you even ever thought of it like that? Or are you standing back waiting on someone to say, bing, we have now determined that you are top talent in this organization. Bing, we have now determined that we want you to be a part of the succession plan. Bing, now we are putting together a development plan for you. Majority of the time, that's what happens. But with levelless, the sky is not the limit. So we do not want you limiting yourself. Now is the time for you to put the strategy in place of what it is that you see yourself accomplishing in that organization in which you're working within. Now is the time for you to put together a strategy for you to determine what you're going to accomplish in 2024. Now is the time for you to put together your objectives using the SMART method. Be strategic about it. Be intentional with it. Know what it is that you're going to acquire and complete and achieve. By when? Who do you need to contact? Who do you need to get engaged with? Who do you need to talk to? It's just February. You have 11 months. January is behind us. February is here. Don't let February get away from you, and you have not yet put together your strategy for 2024. If you see yourself as top talent, I mean, I saw myself as top talent from day one because I knew my God-given abilities. I knew the strengths that I brought to an organization. But if you don't understand that, reach out to me because we have assessments that can help you identify it and you can know who you are from your core, your abilities and your strengths, and also your personality. Personality plays a very important role in the roles and responsibilities that you have been given. And the other thing about a personality, are there any blind spots that you have that you're not aware of? And those blind spots, ladies and gentlemen, could be keeping you from being promoted. It could be keeping you from being selected for those special programs or projects. It could be those blind spots that in which management could be consulting about that you do not even know exist and you are unsure how to even manage them because first of all, you didn't even know they were there. No one brought them to your attention. I never will forget when I was first promoted into leadership with a telephone company in Illinois. Oh, I knew how to do the job. I knew how to train. I knew how to bring the numbers in. But what I was not always good at and excellent at is your
Hopefully, we'll see Maxine coming back. Yeah, she popped out there for a second. She was giving us some great life strategies, and all along those lines, I'm going to play a couple of spots. I know I've got one of hers about something that she does in her society, and all along those lines. So I'm going to put this one that I saw about her productions and some of the things that she's got going on, including a kind of stuff that she does in terms of helping folks and all along those lines. So I do know that some time back she had this particular video about students succeeding. So let's check this out and then I'll bring Maxine back.
I am Maxine Phillips, Chief Learning Officer of Level Less, a learning based coaching company that partners with parents to empower teens to create a strategy for succeeding in life. Are you overwhelmed or feel stuck when your teen is undecided about selecting a career path? Our college and career program provides assessments, individualized coaching, and workshops to help teens identify their unique purpose and select a profession that complements their strengths. Call us. Look at that. You never know what technology is going to do. You just have to be flexible in order to move forward. So thank you for your patience. And my producer, Mark, is outstanding. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you to the utmost. See, that's what Pod TV does. They make sure that everything continues to move forward. And they bring us here on Pod TV. We're on Roku. We're on Facebook Live. And it will be recorded and it will be put on YouTube. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate you filling in. But as I was saying, is that I had a blind spot, was totally unaware of it. And it was the approach in which I was speaking to my employees. And I had another manager who took it upon themselves to say, hey, Maxine, let me have a word with you. And so it was, we sat there and had a conversation. And she said, listen, I'm your friend. And I really didn't know her that well at that time, but she said she was my friend. So I said, okay. And she said, so what I'm about to say to you is not to hurt you, but is only to embetter you. So see, feedback is not always something that we want, but it is something that we need. And so when she said to me, you're a great manager, your training is awesome, she said, it's just your approach with the employees. She said, my suggestion would be take a step back, think about what it is that you're going to say, and ask yourself, how is this going to come across? That was the best advice she could have given me. My entire leadership skills totally changed because it was a blind spot that I did not even know I had. And so there are times that you need to understand what our blind spots are. And a blind spot can surface really fast when you're under stress, when you're unsure of what it is that you're doing and you feel insecure or you lack that confidence level, or this is the first time that you're doing this particular job or this particular role or these particular responsibilities, or you're just exhausted and you're not had enough sleep. And so the mind is going to react and it's going to trigger things and you don't even know that you're doing them. But it's nothing like having someone to give you that feedback. And we should always, ladies and gentlemen, if you see your friend that's doing something that's going to hinder their progress in life, take a moment, take time out to give them that constructive feedback. That's how we have to look at it. It's constructive. It's not meant to be destructive. If it is meant to be destructive, then you have a total different reason for giving that feedback. But it should always be to give feedback is to help a person to become better at what it is that they are doing. So as I'm talking about this evening, and we're talking about talent management, we have to also look at performance improvement. When there are layoffs, don't be the reason that you get laid off is because you have not been producing. Do not let that be the reason. If they're downsizing, it's because they need to make adjustments in which they are managing the business. I've got caught up in layoffs before. I've been retained, to close an office at the end of a acquisition. So there's different things that happen when you being laid off. And the reason why I bring layoff up out and talk about it is because it's happening so fast here lately. Ask yourself, where do I fit? Would I keep me as an employee if I had to make a decision to reduce the human capital? Would I keep me? It's nothing like answering that for yourself. And that way you'll see if there are any performance gaps that you need to bridge. The other thing we talk about is employee engagement. See, when you have that talent management and the employer, like I mentioned earlier, you probably have had a performance review. Here it is, February. And in that performance review, did you have a discussion about development? When you set your objectives for 2024 and you saw and you understood that role and responsibilities was going to be challenging, did you have a conversation with your manager to share your concerns, to determine if you need development? How are they going to know if you do not have that conversation with them? And leaders, are you asking your employees what are their development plans? We have many, many individuals who absolutely love learning. And that's one, as they say, low hanging fruit in order to retain top talent is to develop them. So when you have to make that decision with these layoffs or select someone as a top talent person and put them in a development rotation or leadership role, let it be because you've identified or they have also come to you and shared with you on their development plans. It should be a mutual agreement. It should be a wonderful conversation. And you both should know exactly the outcomes and how it's going to be a win-win for both you and the employer. That's all it takes is a conversation. Don't let it be, whether it's employee, whether it's individual contributor, whether you're an executive, whether you are in leadership roles. Oh, we got all these titles that we throw out. But at the end of the day, we're all individuals. We're all individuals who knows that we have goals and responsibilities that we would love to see ourselves accomplish. It depending on what time of the year and what the goals are and what the objectives are and the roles and responsibilities in which you have been assigned. I know I'm giving you a lot of questions and a lot of things to ponder and think about. But if I were you, I would take time to journal this. I would take time to write my ideas out. I would take time to write what I see myself doing and accomplishing in 2024. I would take the time to have a conversation with my leader, my manager. I would take the time to know exactly what is my worth. How do I advocate for myself? How do I make it known that I am interested in being a part of this particular project or this particular program or to get in this particular department? How do I go about doing that? Well, we have a mastermind that's going to be offered, and we will help you to do exactly that. There's no reason for you to do it alone. Why not do it with someone who has the expert advice, who's helped hundreds of individuals go through it? But you know, that movement we talk about, that levelist mindset, success without levels, is not about always climbing and climbing and climbing, because you can be successful laterally, making lateral moves. As they say, making boss moves. So we talk about, I want to mention to you about talent value versus talent management. As you're acquiring the development, you might have you could have already acquired the degree, certifications, experiences, but do you know the value of you? Do you know your worth? Have you written it down? To what extent have you documented it? So you understand the whole you. You understand the value that you added to an organization. Because, see, the value you added to that organization, how do you repurpose that and add value to another organization should you be a part of a layoff? That's why I say when you stay ready, there's no reason to get ready. And we here at Levelist, we help you to stay ready. So when an opportunity presents itself, you are ready to be chosen for it. And you'll know it. You have that confidence, not ego, but confidence in who you are, in your abilities and your strengths. And you know your personality matches the values of the organization in which you're interested in working within. I don't say work for, I always say work within, because it should be a balance. It should be a win-win for everyone. It should be a win-win. Let me see if I have anyone out there that's watching. If you have any questions, put your questions in the chat. Let me know that you have a question or two. Any comments? No, Kyle. Oh, wait a minute now. I have a question out there, and one person is asking me, so how do I balance my development with my performance? Well, one of the things that you want to look at is you want to look at the roles and responsibilities that you've been assigned and indicate whether or not you see that there is a gap in you actually being able to do that role and responsibilities with the standard of excellence. And if you feel like you know you're going to be challenged, then write down what development that you'd like to talk to your manager about, because you have to have that conversation. Because if the development requires, what we call budget, then it has to be make sure that the budget is there. If it's self-development, then that's something that you will be able to do on your own. Document that you've done it, and then document how it's going to benefit you in your role and responsibilities. So when you have that conversation with your manager, you're able to share it with the manager. Thank you for asking that question. And thank you all for joining in and listening to this information, because like I said, it's at the beginning of the year. It's something that you can use from this point forward. It never goes out of style. It's something that's going to be used from now on. It's a part of a career path. And what is your career path? Have you put a plan in place? Have you put a strategy in place? How are you going to get there? What knowledge, skills, and abilities do you need? What education is it going to be for? Who's responsible for it? Ultimately, you're responsible for your performance, and you're responsible for the development, coming up with the development that is needed. I love being able to talk about this. I love being able to help individuals overcome any challenges, because again, the sky is not the limit. So we don't want you to limit yourself. We want you to continue to move forward and do an outstanding job. Now, tonight I've spoken a lot about those who are working within an organization. But what about my entrepreneurs? We too must develop ourselves. We must not stop learning. We must be a master of our craft. And we have to put ourselves out there. So networking is one of the ways of learning. Mentoring and being a mentor and being a mentee. And we have to invest in ourselves. So investment is very essential when it comes to being an entrepreneur or a business owner. And yes, executives, we know that you're at that executive level and time can be so taken from you. Like, how am I going to find time to develop myself or go and do? And many times it could be just through a conference, a one-day conference, or a 2-day conference. You call that almost like a little mini getaway, a little mini vacation, something that you and the spouse can go to together, and so therefore you have an evening that you can just be with the spouse, and then the day you can be at the conference. So there's a way of weaving in and bringing a balance to what it is that we do every day. And this is not just for the executives, it could be for anyone. So all the things that I'm talking about, take them and use them, apply them, internalize them to how it fits what you're doing. There's no right or wrong way, but you have to give it some thought. You must be intentional. You must be intentional on where you see yourself going and what you see yourself doing when you're in the working world, when you're in the marketplace, whether you're working with someone or whether are you the owner of the business or whether you're just getting started. Just because you're just coming out of the gate, this is even more reason why you want to put plans and a strategy in place. Performance improvement can be used by all. Development, everyone can be developed. Continuous learning is so essential to life. I know we have this mental, we always talk about mental awareness, continuous learning. It helps to develop the brain. It helps the brain to retain a lot of great information and helps you to then turn around and share it or be creative. I love it when I come in contact with those who are artists or musicians or singers or piano players or play the trombone or saxophone is my favorite instrument to hear someone play. But you hear their gifts and their talents. And it can be so soothing to my soul especially when I hear that saxophone. So even many times at night when I'm reading, I'll find myself listening to music in the background. It helps to relax. It helps to re-energize. It helps to soothe the brain, bring you down from some of that stress. So there are different ways that we can help ourselves when it comes to making sure that we stay mentally healthy. There's just so many different things that we have to do for ourselves. All right, let's see. Don't forget to ask your manager or your leader for support. Let them know what you need. They cannot read your mind. And leaders, you need to also let your employees know what you expect of them. They cannot read your mind either. So when you hear me talk, you hear me talk about a win-win situation for both the employee and for the employer. Because after all, the employer hired the employee to do a particular job or a particular role or a particular assignment. And that employee, majority of the time, they come in there wanting to do an outstanding job. So let's make it easy for them. Easy for them to do outstanding work so that the company can prosper. The company can be productive and the company can reach their annual goals. Now, when I started this conversation talking about who we serve when it comes to levelless, young adults, high school, and college students. Well, we're at the beginning of the food chain organizations. We're helping to develop these young adults so that they can become employed by your organization. So the more we know about your organization and your roles and your values and your principles, and we help these young individuals to understand it, they come equipped to start working and producing from day one. And that is done through our job search assignment program. And so, see, even if you have job openings, we're okay if we can engage in a conversation and understand where your job openings are, because I very well could be working with individuals who could fill those roles. So that's one way of using and partnering and being collaborated with each other so that we can then fill some gaps or fill some openings that's there. And if there are layoffs, ladies and gentlemen, and we know about the job, we know about the layoffs, then we can start help preparing you so that you're able to acquire another job opening. We just have to help you repurpose the skills that you already have. All that's done through our job search assignment mastermind program. That's where we would engage with you and ensure that all of those kinks are worked out so that you can be found by other organizations, by other projects, by nonprofits. You have to make yourself known, and what are your unique abilities and strengths that you're bringing forth that's going to add value to an organization. Because after all, that's what organizations are going to want to know. How are you going to do things differently or add value when you come on board? When you come on board. Let me see if I have any other questions out here. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right, all right, all right. Look like we might have one question that's coming in. And the question was, what if I have not had a performance discussion with my manager in 2 years? Well, we have a situation going on right there, I would say. And my question to you is, what have you done to prevent it from being 2 years before you talk about your performance and how well you're doing or what things you need to do differently? I know there might not be a formal maybe review done, but surely there's been some type of conversation about your performance. And if there has not been, then I'm going to put the ownership on you. I'm going to say, set up a meeting, have your documentation, and have a conversation about your performance and how you would rate yourself and why you would rate yourself that way. Give examples. I know these are some great tips I'm giving you, so please write them down and don't keep them to yourself. Share it with someone else, because you're not in this boat by yourself. There are other individuals out here in the world that's going through the same things that you're going through. Let's face it, these last 3 years, COVID has just changed the whole landscape on how things are done. Some companies are totally doing away with performance reviews, and it could be paid for performance. So you have to understand what your company is actually doing. And that would be, HR, talk to your HR rep. If you're not having that conversation with your manager, make sure that you're talking to your human resources personnel. They would love to be able to explain to you how the company compensates employees when it comes to performance and the expectations of you as an employee. And pay attention to when you were going through orientation. Somewhere in orientation, I would hope and I would trust that was a part of the orientation, that they talked about evaluations and how you would receive annual reviews or annual increases, or if there is an increase in the company when it comes to money. Not every company can afford to give increases every year. So you have to understand that as well. That's right. You have to understand how the makeup of the organization work. And don't let an entire year go by. Or don't even let a whole quarter go by without you having had a conversation about your performance. So if you are a contributor, you have it with your manager. If you're a manager, you have it with the next level manager. And if you're a next level manager, you have it with the executive. An executive, you have it with the president. So regardless, you don't let time elapse without you talking about how you have performed and how they have noticed your performance. Because there should not be any blind information delivered should there be a layoff, or should you not get an increase. You should know in advance how you're performing. And if your leader is not setting reviews with you, then you need to set a review with your leader. Don't always leave it to management. Show your initiative. And let's face it, your career path, that's your job. That's not your leader's job. That's your job. And it's important that you understand the direction that you're taking. So remember when I said, discover who you are, know your abilities and strengths. I talked about defining what success looks like for you so that you know when you're doing it, when you've reached it, when you've achieved it. And then you design a strategy, you put it in place. So you have landmarks, you have accomplished dates, you have milestones in which you've reached. And then you develop. So you put a development plan in place so there are no gap areas, that you bridge the gap, and you've had that conversation. You know if it's going to be self-development or if you're going to have to go out and pay for development. What is it that you're going to need in order to make you successful in the organization, in your career path, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner? You need to know all of that along the way. And then deliver. Deliver and execute with excellence. Deliver and execute with excellence. We're talking about quality. We're talking about customer experience. We're talking about stakeholder relationships. We're talking about all of that. So when someone mentions your name, excellence is an automatic thought that comes to their mind. She does it with excellence. He delivers with excellence. I can always depend on him. She's always there, ready to go. She's ahead. She's intentional. You want those characteristics showing. When they think of you, you want them to think of those characteristics. Trustworthy, prompt, follow through, dependable. You have enough homework tonight. Take the time to write it down. Take the time to journal. I will be posting the assignment search mastermind program. I look forward to you joining it. We can talk, we'll be talking further about it this month. But the intent is for you to always be ready when an opportunity presents itself, then you are the one chosen for it. Your uniqueness, your abilities, your strengths, and your personality, it shines every day, all day long, and people notice it. The confidence that you have, the tenacity that you do, and the win-win attitude about helping yourself as well as helping others. So that concludes what I'm talking about tonight when it comes to top talent or talent management or improvement and development. For the remainder of the time, I want to talk a minute about levelless living. We are looking for individuals who are living their legacy, who are helping others to move forward, who are giving back, who's making a difference and an impact in their community, in the nation, or even in the world. Let us hear from you. And who would you recommend that we interview when it comes to individuals who are living their legacy? We want to feature them and highlight them so that the world can understand who they are. I know there are a lot of individuals out here. I know a lot of individuals But I don't want it to be that I'm handpicking everyone. I want you all to suggest, because there are many people that I don't know, but you do. Leveless Living nominations will be opening soon. By the end of the week, we'll have everything up and ready to go. We'll also be posting the Job Search Assignment Mastermind Program so that you can join. We're only accepting a few, so it'll be first come, first get. We will be posting that link as well. So that will open up on Friday. So here we are on Monday, but we'll open it up on Friday. Give everybody an opportunity to hear this announcement, and we'll post it again. Because with the way the world is going, we've got AI challenging us, and we also have all these layoffs challenging us. And it's time for us to make sure that we are ready. So when that opportunity presents itself, we are the one that's chosen for it. This is Maxine Pearl Phillips, the Life Strategy Show. I know that I believe in you, and I trust you believe in yourself. I want to make sure that you reach out to me at Maxine@levellessco.com, or you can go to the website at www.levellessco.com. I want to take the time to thank Mark Lee, our producer at Pod TV, and Nick and Kim for their guidance in creating this Pod TV network. We are also on Roku, YouTube, Facebook Live, Amazon Live, and we're in over 200 countries. There's a lot of work for us to do in a short time to get it done. See, because tomorrow is not promised. And so that's one of the reasons why I say, live your life. Remove the levels. You can have success without levels. So don't put yourself in a box. Instead, have that levelist mindset, because the sky, it's not the limit. So don't limit yourself.
Hey, Maxine, I'm just going to let you know I usually don't pop in on you, but I'm going to pop in and let you know that this week we're actually meeting Pod TV because one of our founders, Kim, is going. I think she's leaving on Wednesday. But Pod TV, and if you go to the website, you'll see this, will be at the Super Bowl. So we're at the Super Bowl as well. So Kim is going to the Super Bowl. She won't be at the game, but so she'll miss the game, but she's going. As you know, when they have the Super Bowl, they have like a whole week of activities, and she's leaving on Wednesday, and she'll be there Wednesday to Saturday, meeting with some doctors and some other people about shows and about opportunities and all along those lines. But yes, she is heading towards the Super Bowl. And if you go to podtv.tv, you'll see that we've actually got Walter Football and others that will be making announcements about the Super Bowl and some of the things that are going on. So we have a presence at the Super Bowl.
Yay! Look at that, Pod TV.
Yep, on the move.
On
So I
the
just wanted to
move.
share that with you. We're on the move because Kim is over there heading. I think she told me that because of a appointment she couldn't go as early as she wanted, but she's leaving on Wednesday, and I think she's there Wednesday to Saturday. So she'll be in
Excellent.
Vegas because that's where the Super Bowl is this year. She'll be in
Right.
Vegas
Look at
at
that.
some of
Look at
those
that.
events.
Look
So
at
we are
that. That
at the
is
Super Bowl.
awesome. See, Pod TV is on the move. On
On
the
the move.
move.
So I just wanted to share that with you. I know that you were doing your life strategies, but I couldn't resist letting you know because I know you're a big fan of all that we're doing, and you're doing some great work here as well. So I just wanted to pop in and let you know that we are at the Super Bowl, and I'll pop out and let you close out. But I just wanted to share that bit of news with you and your listeners.
Well, actually, Mark, I just talked about Pod TV and was thanking Kim and Nick,
Right.
because of the platform in which we have, because it's such a powerful platform. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, you cannot ask for a better producer, which is Mark Lee, the flexibility. We always talking about leadership and organization development and performance improvement. And Mark is always there, flexible, helping us to do the things that we do. So Mark, I just thank you so much for being a part of this. And I thank you for popping
All
in.
right, have a good
Yeah,
night.
definitely.
Okay, yeah. And so I'm going to say good night as well. And so listen, I always end my show with, I believe in you and I trust you believe in yourself. So have a good night. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same station. Take care.
chance.